I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but Lisa is my least favorite Loud, discluding Lily, which I'll get to at another point. I just find her a little annoying and underdeveloped compared to the other sisters and, well, Lincoln and his parents. I don't know why that is. I think it's because I've seen her before, characters a lot like her, just a smart character. She looks a lot like Velma, and her spitting is a little annoying to me. Spitting is one of the things that really bother me, saliva in general. With that said, it would seem as though this is a review of a bad episode because it's of my one of my least favorite characters of the show. And that's not true. This episode is actually one of my favorites. Somewhere in top 10 for sure. I think it may actually be my favorite of season 2. This episode seems. I don't really want to say Lisa is out of character, but it seems as though her character has really evolved in. Because this episode feels a lot like a Dexter episode in a good way, not a bad way. I mean, I could actually imagine Dexter from Dexter's Lab in a situation where it seems like a simple thing and it's a very smart character, but they don't have the skill to actually do what it is that they need to do. And this episode is about Lisa getting an F in social skills, which is something that I would have too, but it was because she didn't have a friend or make any friends because she was too worried about her science in the back of the class, and the rest of the classes she made A's in. Um, so yeah, that's definitely interesting to see her fail. I don't really think we see that in any other episode, which is mostly the reason why she is one of my least favorite characters, as mentioned prior in my other review. Um, but this plot is, for whatever reason, one of my favorites. I feel as though it's very relatable. Lisa is relatable in this plot, and it's just funny, like I said, an episode of Dexter's Lab. It just, yeah, I just find it really funny. The problem is Lisa's social skills. So she goes out and finds a friend, but in order to find a friend, she literally does field research of her own house, which is really hilarious to me. Then she finds her friend. She says the first person that walks through the door, and then like about 5 people walk through the door, and then she finally says, "Oh, Darcy, she's perfect." So that's funny because she's in kindergarten, I think, and there are a lot of, yeah. She doesn't fit in, so she has to find somebody that does, kind of. Anyway, on to Darcy. Darcy is actually a really funny character. Um, I think it's because she's portrayed as a little kid, and her design is like good. I mean, her having a band-aid on her leg makes a lot of sense at that age. So that's cool to see. And she's just funny because she's almost the polar opposite of Lisa, which polar opposites really work together in shows well, in media in general, especially in cartoons, especially in comedy. I feel as though some of the best episodes, SpongeBob, of SpongeBob and Plankton really worked off of each other very well because one is good and one's evil. This isn't necessarily the same thing. One is smart and one is just learning, I guess. I don't really want to say anything too mean. Um, but yeah, it's really interesting. Darcy kind of shows Lisa how to be a kid with like the seesaw, in which Lisa has never heard of a lot of the playground equipment. Um, which is cool considering she's supposed to be a genius and she doesn't know a lot about kid stuff, which, yeah, interesting. Then once she finally gets the A, she decides that she doesn't need uh Darcy anymore. So she avoids her, and then to the point where she says pretty much she doesn't want to be her friend anymore. And then Darcy cries to the teacher, and then we get, well, a little later in the episode, we get our moral of the episode, which is something that is actually really good. Uh, this moral is friends make your life better, which is something that is a lesson that I needed to learn at 19. I feel the lesson is handled very well, and Loudhouse isn't really known for giving out lessons or morals or anything, but it was nice to see one in this episode. It really adds to the episode, and the moral is almost like uh, My Little Pony's finale moral, like their question of what is the meaning of life, the equivalent of that, which is, yeah, that's cool. I feel as though the show can do good with any of its characters, and I hope to see a good Lily episode soon. But for now, this is one of my favorite episodes, and if Lisa never gets this good, or if I can never like her again, then at least I always have this episode to go back on.